Welcome back, dear viewers. Thank you for staying with us here on Nile TV International. And we will be updating you here on the latest developments regarding the just Palestinian cause, the situation in Gaza, the situation in the West Bank. And with us now live via phone is Dr. Ahmed Mostafa, Professor of International Relations. Thank you, Dr. Mostafa, for your time.
Not at all. This is a duty, as I told several times before.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, Dr. Mostafa, let me start by talking about Gaza. The continuing Israeli operation now targeting Gaza City itself. Israel says it now controls 40% of Gaza City. And of course, the aim is to continue to kill more Palestinians, starve more Palestinians, and move them south near the border with Egypt. How long do you think this will continue at a time when Israel is rejecting every offer at a ceasefire, every brokered initiative and proposal by Egypt and Qatar?
Mr. Mohammed, just let me remind you what I told you the last week. And if I told you, I think who screamed first will be the loser in this. And now the Israelis started to scream, because once we made our interview the last week, few days later, one of the biggest qualitative operations took place within Gaza, and it was like a big trap again. And it was a very big scandal for the IDF.
Yes.
Number two, after this hostility and the aggression against Yemen and assassination of the government, the retaliation was very harsh from the Houthi power. And yesterday there were 4 drones attacked, big organizations and departments and so on inside Tel Aviv and the other cities.
Yes.
Therefore, now there are 2 pressures. The third pressure that came, if you remember the parade of the military parade in Beijing yesterday, Xi Jinping in between Putin from one side and Kim Jong-un from the other side. And Kim Jong-un, he already promised, and already supported Russia in this regard, and already expressed his desire to support Iran to retaliate Israel during the war. And also in some statements, he said that we can stop this war, we can send the North Koreans to the Palestinians to, struggle with them. Therefore, this, summit, the SCO that took place a few days ago, as well as the parade, it was a strong message to the West in this regard. If you don't stop your aggression, we have the time and we have the power to retaliate, and it will have greater repercussions, because now Israel and the West is losing, the other half of the world, especially China, Russia, and the 20 countries who were existed in the SCO, including Indonesia, Turkey, Iran, Egypt, Malaysia, and Pakistan. And those countries are not just big in the numbers, big in the powers, big in the armies, and big in the weaponry. Therefore, now the world is not as before. And also Egypt, and the statement of the president and Sheikh al-Azhar yesterday, it was very strong and very harsh, and including some hidden messages to the Zionist entity. And now Mr. Sisi, he put Trump in a very bad corner in the United States. Also in America itself, as I told you before, and over and over again, the economic situation is very bad. Now he wants maybe to have some sort of maneuver against Venezuela in order to control not the drug or the trafficking of the drugs that are coming from Venezuela, because Venezuela is not famous for such kind of dirty business, but it was other countries like Colombia or other countries. But he wants just to control the energy, because now the gallon of the fuel or the benzene inside the United States is reaching $6. The inflation is very high. The what's so-called the real estate also is so high, and a lot of people abstaining from buying real estate because the services that belongs to the real estate may be much harder and harsher than if you have a rental.
Yeah.
A lot of things against the American, and now all the younger generation are abstaining to, they are not ready just to pay the taxes just for foreign, countries or Israel or things like that. And a lot of people express themselves that why we support Israel in this.
Okay.
Israel is not a part of our country. Therefore, I think the situation is not in the favor of Israel in the long run.
Dr. Mostafa, you mentioned, like, you talked about the West and East versus West. I mean, can we put really the West in one bracket? I mean, we are seeing now...
Double standard, unfortunately.
Okay,
double standard West, because Europe, as you see, also von der Leyen cannot do anything with the United States once Trump already dragged all the leaders of the Western countries before him as the students or pupils of a primary school and told them, don't, argue with me because I can increase this 15% to be 25% on the matter of tariffs, and I can deprive Europe from technology and from, the military aid or support.
Okay, but her deputy, the European Union's Commission Vice President, the European Commission Vice President said on Thursday that what Israel is doing in Gaza is genocide. And this is and she is the most senior official in Europe to describe the Israeli actions in Gaza as genocide. That's the European Commission Vice President. And she hit, by the way, at the 27-nation bloc for failing to act to stop it, to stop the genocide. Now, there are two questions here. First of all, can we put the West all in one bracket, or we should separate Europe from the US? Because the US has this very biased stance towards the Israelis, but at least, but Europe is shifting. Europe is, yes, it hasn't changed things on the ground, but at least it is talking. At least it is seemingly trying. At least it is talking about the recognition of the Palestinian state. And now, the most senior European official, European Commission Vice President, describing the Israeli war on Gaza as genocide.
No, you talked about the Vice President, but also von der Leyen and Callas, both of them, they already expressed something opposite to this. And they found that it is a fundamental right to Israel just to defend itself. Because both of them, they belong to the international Zionism that is controlling the Anglo-Saxon and Anglo-Saxon controlling Europe. Yes, we found some shifting. Even, this fleet of freedom that already started to move from Spain a couple of days before.
Yeah.
However, not the majority having the same. And even in Denmark, they failed to have the consensus just to support together. How can we describe that? It was 1 week ago. It is like a big shame, especially for the biggest countries in Europe, especially, the waiting countries in Europe, like France, like Germany, of course, Britain and Austria, Holland. You saw or you watched it in Holland, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he left and he resigned from the government because the whole government doesn't want to confess or to admit the matter of the genocide over there in Gaza.
And we all know about the consistent Norwegian, Irish, Spanish positions.
But unfortunately, they are not waiting countries comparing to, because we know that the biggest European economic states is Germany, Austria, Holland, of course France, and Britain. Despite Britain now, we don't know, they are out of the EU, however, they control the EU, unfortunately, and especially it was very evident during this Ukrainian, case, and Britain, it was the main demon in this, case so far.
Dr. Mostafa, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says he has warned France and other nations not to recognize the Palestinian state, and he has said that this potential recognition will have repercussions, and he said that Israel will respond by annexing the West Bank. How do you see this issue developing?
As I told you, all the American administration, especially in the past 20 years, they are very much Zionists, and they are already elected via the Zionists, because they always put the American people between, the worst and the worst. And Europe is the same. And if you watch the people right now, like in the high, official positions, they have no political or economic experience. This is why they are suffering a lot. And they think that the world is like after the collapse of the USSR. Before you can find someone like Marco Rubio, and I think Marco Rubio, I saw like one of the kind of, interrogation via the Congress against him, and he was like a child. He couldn't answer any question that was addressed from one of the senates to him concerning some issue. It was, I don't know, in Colombia or in California or something like this. And it gives you the impression that those people, they have no experience. And also, if you find the people like Barak or Tigran who are coming to here, they are coming from a Zionist school. They have no information about the Arabs, and they already got the information that the Arabs is a low-profile people, and you should treat with them like this. This is why you can find a statement from this idiot figure like Barak, when he said that you Arabs are animalistic, and still this business and what's so-called the trade corridors, whether in South Lebanon or in Gaza or whatsoever, is still the mainstream line over there in the United States, which is inspired via the Trump and of course his son-in-law Kushner. As we discussed the last time. Yeah. This is exactly the mentality, because the viewers should understand how the decision-making in America is being made. And of course, now there is the war between the Zionist Club, or this, campaign of the Zionism over there in the Anglo-Saxon countries, and with the people now who want other things, especially the younger generation. The good thing in this story, as I told you before, that more than 50%, or around 52% of the voting bloc right now belongs to the younger generation, of the people under 55 years. And now that this matter makes, Trump get crazy, because we have like a midterm elections very soon, and this matter, will have like a repercussion, especially in the coming whether Congress elections with the two chambers and with the presidential elections in the future, because the people is still thinking differently. And don't forget that Elon Musk himself, he has like a big dispute and a rift with the administration, and now he already founded a new party, America Party.
Okay.
All these, factors, I think, will never be in the favor in the coming 4 years for the United States. And as I told you, theoretically, we can say that we can confiscate Gaza within 4 months. Practically or technically, it's impossible. As I told you the last week.
We understand, of course, Dr. Mostafa, that things can change in the midterm and in the long term in favor of the just Palestinian cause and against Israel, which is losing its image, which has already probably lost its image worldwide. We do understand that in the midterm and long term. But for the short term, let me ask you for the short term, and this is the final question. Which factor do you think will play the biggest role in how things will shape up? I mean, because nobody knows what will happen in Gaza, what will happen in the West Bank, what will happen at the UN General Assembly meetings. So who has the biggest say? And I'm going to give you the choices. Who has the biggest say? Is it the Trump administration? Is it the inner developments in Israel? Is it the inner equations inside Israel? Is it the Arab countries if they unite and take a very strong position? Or is it the Chinese and Russian and Eastern Bloc? Or is it Europe? So now you have the choices. Who is the biggest factor in how things will develop in the upcoming period, in your view, in the short term?
Yeah, I told you before the last time, we have a big issue inside Palestine itself, the unity in between the two big factions, especially Hamas and Fatah. Also,
and I forgot to ask you, indeed, that's the factor I forgot to ask about. Or is it the Palestinian scene and the Palestinian Palestinian resistance against the Israeli occupation?
50% of the issue belongs to this matter. If both factions are unified and forget all the rifts in this time being, I think Israel will be defeated in 1 or 2 weeks, frankly speaking, because the qualitative, operation that is being made via Al-Qassam the last week and before the last week, they made, the situation of the IDF or the intelligence or so on is very bad because they already kidnapped about 5 soldiers and officers as well.
And Israel described this event as the worst since October 7th.
7th of October, yes, indeed. Also, don't forget that the Houthi and the Houthi, they are very stubborn people and will never leave the right, and the strikes started 1 day after the funeral or after the assassination of the government there. And yesterday, 4 drones already reached Tel Aviv and Haifa and the other important and already targeted like very influential and effective positions and places over there inside Israel. And this is the first time after the attacks of Iran. And also they have these ballistic missiles that can, like Palestine 2, that can reach and no, Iron Dome or Iron Ice Cream or whatsoever can, stop it. The days will never be, even in the short term, will never be to the favor. We know that the price, they are killing the innocents every day, the people who go for getting the aid, especially the food and water and things like that. But this is the price because the Arabs were dormant and the Muslims were dormant for more than 45 years since the war with October. And it was a big mistake from President Sadat, despite his victory in October, where that he said it is the last war. Once he said that, Israel and Kissinger started to make the big fitna and the big divide in the Arab and Islamic world.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Mostafa, as always, for your insight. Dr. Mostafa is Professor of International Relations. Dear viewers, please stay with Night TV Internationals.